In this chapter about retouching, let's go to the folder Clone Stamp Tool. Then let's open the photo of the orange, just like so. In this exercise, the goal is to duplicate the orange. From here, there are two solutions. You can work directly on the original layer or duplicate the layer, the destructive way, and another better solution is to create a new empty layer. It's more flexible and non-destructive. For that, let's click on the plus icon at the bottom, just like so. The empty layer is ready. So with the layer selected, let's take the Clone Stamp tool, just right here. As you can see, it's like a brush. The cursor is a small circle, which indicates the size is too small. I right-click, then I increase the size of the brush, maybe about 200 pixels. In this case, I don't need to be precise. For the hardness, I will choose 0%, because I want a soft brush. Okay, the tool is well adjusted. I validate with the Enter key. Okay. Then at the top in the options bar, for the sample, by default, current layer is selected, but I'm gonna change it to all layers. Just choose all layers right here. So now with the empty layer selected, when I will sample a pixel, Photoshop will detect the pixels of the background. So make sure to select the empty layer. Now press down the Alt key or Option on Mac. A target icon appears. Click on the center of the orange, for example, to sample a pixel. Then release the click. That was the first step. It's kind of copying an area of the image. Then for the second step, I'm going to move the cursor on the right. I can preview the result. That's a good point. Then I click and drag to kind of paint the image. It's like copying and then painting the image. That's why this tool is called the Clone Stamp tool. As you can see, while I paint, there is a small cross. And this cross indicates the pixels that I paint from the original image. As you can see, the cross is always following my cursor. When I paint the image, the cross also moves. Actually, I paint directly inside of the empty layer. And it's done. I duplicated some pixels of the original image in a new layer. So this first exercise allows you to learn the basics of the Clone Stamp tool. Now let me show you the second example. So let's go to the folder. Then let's open the photo called Time by clicking and dragging the file next to the first tab, like so. And as you can see on the right, there is the time of the day, right here. Now the goal is to make the numbers disappear. In this case, I'm going to work directly on the layer because I'm sure of my result. But you can duplicate the layer or create a new empty layer. So I select the layer, then I choose the Clone Stamp tool, right here. Adjust the size of the brush to be more precise, just like that. Maybe about 30 pixels. For the hardness, I will choose 100%. I want a brush with hard edges. Hit Enter to validate. Then I'm going to press down the Alt key or Option on Mac to choose a texture and choose a sample. Maybe I can sample this area right here by clicking. Release the click and the Alt key. This area is copied. Then for the second step, let's kind of paint the image. As you can see, actually, I paint the area of the cross over the original image. If I need, I can sample again another area. These pixels right here, for example, press down the Alt key or Option on Mac, click to take a sample, then paint over the numbers, just like that. So just click and drag, paint over the original image to remove the numbers. Again, take a sample, press down the Alt key or Option on Mac, click on the rock right here, then paint the texture over the numbers. With this technique, I can be very precise. I can choose the texture I want, the rock I want, and I can paint them over the original image. To conclude, the Clone Stamp tool is a classic tool. The advantage is that you can be very precise, and the downside is that it takes a long time and the tool is not easy to use. The tools that are using artificial intelligence are quicker and easier to use. Voilà, that's all for this lesson.